Also, Peseiro, I speak on behalf of over 200 million Super Eagles fans when I say that qualification for the FIFA World Cup in 2026 is not negotiable. And here's our preview of our first qualifier game. This time it's against Lesotho. It happens on Thursday, and of course we'll talk about that game in this episode. Here is me welcoming you to the Nutmeg on Guardian TV. And of course, we will get talking about the business of today, which is the game between Lesotho and the Super Eagles of Nigeria. Olaniyi Adeoluwa is here again to join this conversation. And of course, where better to start for all conundrums than the midfield. Looks really lean for me, the midfield options that Peseiro has to pick from because he's called up 4 players in that department, and it's not looking ideal for me.
For everything that Peseiro has done so far, I must commend him for one thing. He experiments a lot, and I would like to think this.
Is that something worth commending?
I would like to think this as an experiment. Yes, I would prefer an experiment against Lesotho than an experiment against Algeria or Egypt
or the Senegals of this world.
Senegals, no.
Yeah.
If it's against Lesotho, you can still try new stuff. The last game he played, you could see him using the 4-2-4 formation. Just using 2 midfielders, although we also saw the lapse in it. They suffered in the middle of the park. But he has brought in Rafael Onyedika and also Frank Onyeka. Rafael Onyedika especially anchoring the middle of the park, especially with the absence of Wilfred Ndidi.
Yeah, I've got to say, yeah.
It's quite painful that we don't have the experienced legs of Wilfred there. But he can still cook something with this. He can still cook.
You believe so?
I think...
So in terms of what he could cook, we know Alex Iwobi from all the games that have been played under Peseiro. Alex Iwobi is a name on the starting lineup for Nigeria. But who do you pair with him now? Because whoever you're bringing in is most likely inexperienced when it comes to combining with Alex Iwobi. And this is a big deal because we're going into a qualifier game. It's quite important. I would like
to pick this with form. Look at the players based on performances. That unfortunately puts Joe Aribo out of this list.
Yeah,
I think it would do well with a double pivot of Frank Onyeka and Rafael Onyedika and Alex Iwobi as the attacking midfield. That is if he wants to go with a 3-man midfield setup. Alex Iwobi will not really be bothered with the defensive aspect of the game, just trying to do things at the final third. While Onyeka and Rafael will be able to to short things in the middle of the park, making sure that defensively they are covered, and also ensuring that superiority is instilled in the middle of the park. But he can go with that. He can also choose to go with 2 midfielders, like the 4-2-4 he has played earlier on, or he can even choose to go with a 4-4-2. A certain Nathan Taylor is also available for him right
it's good
now.
for him. Let's see if the young man can get a debut.
So if he decides to introduce Nathan Taylor, he can also introduce him as a wing. As a
wing option, wide forward,
midfielder, which makes a lot of sense, especially when you have you can now have a Moses Simon on the left, Nathan Taylor on the right.
On paper, these are interesting variations. We can actually go on and on speculating, but it's up to Peseiro. One part of or department of the pitch that we could not speculate anymore is definitely the goalkeeping department, and this time Maduka Okoye has been called back into the squad. And that would definitely raise a lot of eyebrows. It's no surprise that it would. But particularly for their club sides, for what is ideal as one of the top sides in Africa, ranked by FIFA, these players are not looking like they're in the mode. And we've seen a lot of horror shows time and again. Who should be starting in this particular encounter against Lesotho? And even going forward, because when you look at it, all the games ahead are quite important games.
Since Peseiro has decided to, give Francis Uzo minutes with the national team jersey, minutes that he's not getting with his club.
I mean, yeah.
He's the lesser one of the 2 evils. We have the evil of Olaniyi, who is untested, and I don't think is reliable enough to just be introduced into the squad, into the starting lineup ahead of Okoye and Francis.
My worry is for untested options, quote unquote. There are a number of them that could have been tested before now, probably in the last friendlies. I mean, Noah Atubolu of Freiburg. We're talking Arthur Okonkwo, the Arsenal loanee in Wrexham. We're talking Amas Obasoje, even options from within the Nigeria Premier Football League. You're looking at Chris Nwoke from Sporting Lagos. I mean, these are, on paper, decent options. But now I just feel that time to test them is long gone.
I think one thing Jose Peseiro is trying to do is he's trying to maintain a core. There are certain players he's calling. He's trying to okay, these people are already used to the way we train. They are used to the synergy of it. He's not open-minded into introducing new players into the team, and it's a worry for me, especially in this goalkeeping situation. Francis Zuo, for me, is unreliable. Maduka Okoye is unreliable. I don't see us going to the AFCON with confidence with any of these two players as our goalkeeping option. And it's really sad. That's how bad it is. Adebayo Adele, unfortunately, is in Israel because of the ongoing crisis there.
Yeah.
I don't think that's why he probably did not make it into the squad. But if we had an Adebayo Adele, who had earlier on also advocated for, I wish Israel was at peace. If not, it would have been starting.
Well,
at least we would have probably said this is the only player that outside the shores of Africa is really seeing playing time. We can't say the same with Francis Uzo. We can't say the same with Maduka Okoye.
No, you managed to mention, the ongoing war between the Israeli and the Palestine. We wish everybody safe there, and we just send our thoughts. But then let's keep talking about Nigeria in perspective now. Lesotho and Nigeria in history, a recent history of this game. In fact, we faced them only twice, and it was 2 wins for the Super Eagles. One in 2019 was a 4-2 victory, and then 3-0 in the most recent encounter was a victory for Super Eagles as well, as that's in 2021. And something is consistent about these two fixtures. We won, but not just that, there were some certain players on the score sheet. Victor Osimhen on the score sheet in both games, and so was Samuel Chukwueze. Even Paulo Noachu scored a fantastic acrobatic effort over the week during the weekend. He was also a name on the score sheet by that time. But of course, we don't have these players now. Are we going to be missing them? Is my worry. And also, what do you think? The options that we have and the options we don't have portend for this qualifier game. Is it a walkover?
One thing I know is it's Lesotho. I think the absence of Samuel Chukwueze and Victor Osimhen should not limit our ability to score.
Yeah.
We have potent options. I'm still skeptical about the fact that Gift Urban is not on this list.
Yeah, and then there's Sadiq Umaru.
Sadiq Umar, who has barely played over 300 minutes in La Liga. But we still have options. Kelechi Iheanacho, ever reliable in the colors of the Nigerian Super Eagles. Victor Boniface, who is expected to do the work in the absence of his Egbon Victor, that is Osimhen.
Yeah.
And Terry Murphy, not really.
At least proven in some respect
really
in the colors of the
season.
Super Eagles, even if he's not in his usual self, as you say.
One thing I like about Terry Murphy is he's a striker, quite right, but
it's versatile.
He can drop deep, play with the
I knew you were going to say that.
He can also, play as a supporting striker. He can play with a proper number 9. He can play with a Taiwo Awoniyi. He can play with a Victor Boniface. He's someone that I like the way he plays. Moses Simon also, someone that can cause trouble on the left flank. I think in attack, in the
we have a plethora of options.
We are covered.
Yes, that's not a concern. I mean, we've talked about the concerns, earlier in the episode. But then let's have your score prediction. The game is on Thursday, and what do you reckon will be the end of it?
4-2.
A repeat of the 2019 result. Why are you going 4-2? Why?
With as much as I trust the defense.
You trust the defense?
Yeah, I think we have very good options in defense to do the job. I don't trust the goalkeeping department. Against Saudi Arabia, we could have as well won the game. Ozo not fumbled his goalpost or fumbled
just an episode of the hours that we get.
Reminder, this is like season film. So I know we'll score. I know we are going to score 4 goals. I think 4 goals. I expect 4 goals. This is Victor Boniface's chance to shine. You've really been doing so well with Bayern Leverkusen.
Yeah, it's hard also in the last friendlies too.
You also
so, yeah,
really like introduce yourself nicely into the national team setup. I think Kelechi Iheanacho also can get on the score sheet. Victor Boniface can also get on the score sheet.
Moses Simon is a reliable option
If there's a
in the
penalty
colours.
shootout, I want you to take it.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I can depend on Moses Simon to
But
take.
but I think he can offer more. On the contrary,
On the flank, he can dribble and
yeah,
all,
a lot more. He brings a
but
lot
I
more.
prefer him with, that's the only thing I know he can do well. But apart from that, as long as Francis Uzo is our goalkeeper or Maduka Okoye, they are going to concede. That one is sure.
Well, looks like a certainty with Adeoluwa that they will concede. But then something consistent in his words is that they would win, and that is the best for Nigerians and for the Super Eagles faithful. Thank you very much for watching this episode right here on Guardian Nigeria. You can also join our community, follow our content by hitting the subscribe button, and also get latest contents right here of the Nutmeg and even other packages that we have for you by hitting the notification bells as well. Thank you very much for watching. Thank you very, very much, Ade, for making it right here on the Nutmeg.
It's always a pleasure,
And thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next episode. For now, it's goodbye and God bless.